I got the chance to play the Destiny beta on the Xbox One. I'd first like to note that not all of the following footage will immediately correspond to what I'm saying. Second, keep in mind the Xbox One beta is running at 900p, but the final version is confirmed to be 1080p. Alright, so the intro immediately tells you this is clearly a high-budget endeavor, in case you don't keep up with gaming news. The music is also very epic sci-fi fanfare, so space opera fans such as myself are immediately sucked in. Moving into character and class creation. With just 3 classes, all of which have subclasses not found in the beta, there seems to be an immediate lack of class diversity found in typical MMOs. This immediately concerns me, as even with subclasses, the specialization here feels a bit limited. I hope this will expand in future expansions and/or sequels. The lack of physical customizations is also odd for an MMO, as a bunch of identically sized players all wearing helmets in combat that hide one of the only features you get to customize with presets almost entirely defeats the purpose of character customization. As it stands, I always felt like even in the most crowded of situations, it was a bunch of slightly varied clones. Oh, and yes, I play as female characters. I do it because I feel there is definitely a lack of female representation in gaming. So if I'm going to kick butt, I might as well make a female look good doing it while I'm at it. My immediate impressions of the graphics is that they're fairly good. This game may be pushing the hardware more than it looks like at first impression, and might explain the 30 frames per second target, despite all the cross-gen mumbo-jumbo. Textures are good quality, lighting is good quality, and more importantly, the frame rate is fairly stable, despite being a low 30 frame per second VSync lock. I'm sure the PS4 version has its advantages, but I can guarantee an Xbox One owner will not be disappointed with their version unless they're sitting there comparing native res screenshots in a forum or on a website. While social time in the tower, the starting area, runs in third person, the game's core is a first-person shooter. Herein lies a bit of my concern, as I quickly found my missions and side quests to be a bit repetitive. Go here, shoot stuff, finish. Go there, shoot stuff in the way, hold the X button, finish. The final game will, no doubt, have more things to do, but keep in mind that the core structure of a game generally does not change much. Also, almost all of the beta took place in Old Russia on Earth, so in a very short time I became warned of the graphical art style of Old Russia, because I kept returning to it over and over again. With the ability to purchase different ships and vehicles, I'm really hoping the final version maybe has a boss you have to chase and take down on combat vehicles, or even a flying section where you utilize your ship in a one-directional, on-rails path like Star Fox airship levels. The beta proves nothing, but disproves nothing either. It has not proven it has what it takes to reinvent the genres it draws upon by combining them in any meaningful way, nor has it disproven my concern for content variety. The game has an undeniably strong core, but my worry is that this initial release of the Destiny franchise will not fully realize it. Even the social design is lacking, as the ability to communicate with other players in the tower is massively limited, almost requiring you to have friends to play with or make friends outside the tower to bring into Destiny with you. This is an MMO no-no. All in all, my impressions of the Destiny beta are lukewarm. I felt the compulsion to gather more loot and get better gear, but did not get a feeling of epic size, nor reinvention or reinvigoration of the many mechanics this game draws upon, primarily the crowded first-person shooter space. And while many skills and the subclasses were not accessible in the beta, nor was a lot of gear available to use, I remain concerned that large-scale raids will show off the lack of class-based variety. The game also draws upon themes from successful franchises, and I got a feel of Halo, despite never having played it and just looking into it, Mass Effect, and namely Borderlands. Also, it's pretty hard to beat Wheatley as an AI personality, even with the Ghost's updated vocal blurbs and lines. I just can't help but miss Wheatley every time I hear the Ghost's attempt at personality. Additionally, the small bits of story elements here don't exactly fit together seamlessly, but I'll give that a pass, as my experience with MMOs has made this pretty much the standard for any attempt at story in a massively multiplayer environment attempting to give everyone a reason to exist in the lore. Also, the PvP felt just a tad shoehorned in and did not provide the most fluid and balanced dynamic that exists in other competitive FPS games, which no doubt speaks to the game's focus on the co-op narrative and loot-based progression. Having said all that, I will most likely still purchase and review this game because it's one of the big hitters for the current generation, and I sense potential. Potential that I hope is fully realized whether now or in the near future.